Hello everyone, happy you could be here. Let's dive in. Sit at My Grave, Season 3, Ego's Death, Chapter 18. Pressure pounded deep in his chest. His breathing felt restricted, and his face throbbed in pain. But seeing Arden wasn't stopping, Reed on impulse pushed Arden, sending him to the floor. It wasn't enough to hurt him terribly, but it did shock him. "Now you're pushing me around! Get away from me!" Arden yelled. He turned around, so his back faced the floor instead, kicking at Reed a few times to give himself some distance before scrambling back up. He spat at him before quickly going to the bedroom door and opening it before Reed could get to him again. Reed froze where he was, unsure if he should run or stay. His heart throbbed along with his head, teeth clenched, while he cradled the side of his face with his hand and rag. "Dad," Arden said, his voice quieting down when he got the door open. He saw Easton sprawled across the bed, snoring. Arden frowned and eased the door back closed. He turned to look at Reed while he stood there, heavily breathing, while he watched. "You better be glad he's asleep," Arden told him. Reed opened his mouth to speak, but Arden continued. "Don't talk to me. I hate you," Arden bitterly spat. He ran beside Reed, going off to his own room. When Arden was finally alone, sitting in his room, he felt a sinking sadness envelop him. He tried desperately to share himself with the world, but once again he was rejected, tossed aside, and mocked. He wondered if it was his own fault for a while now, trying to see his own faults, but now he was starting to convince himself it was theirs, and always had been. The first person who fully accepted who he was and liked him, encouraged him, made him feel like he belonged, been by his side, and was his best friend in the world, had just stepped over a line and broken his trust. He didn't think if he had punched him it would have felt worse than what he said. It made him wonder if he ever even liked him at all. Arden wiped his face and cleared his voice when he heard their phone ring. His mother wasn't home and his dad was still asleep. Reed seemed to have disappeared into his room. "Hey, Arden, I'm really sorry about what happened at the party. The longer I stayed, the worse I felt. Maybe you can come over to my house. I left the party. My parents said it's okay if you have a sleepover with me." God's words tumbled out over Arden's broken hello. "I'll come over," Arden decided after a few moments of silence. "You will? Awesome! Okay, we'll be over to pick you up in a little while," Gon replied happily. "Okay, I'll tell my parents," Arden croaked out before hanging up. Arden went back to his room. He grabbed some clothes and his toothbrush, quickly bagging everything. He wanted nothing more than to be away from that house and Reed. If that's how he truly felt about him, he hoped Reed understood how he felt about him too. He could hear the muffled but familiar voices, the car's door opening and shutting, the sound of it driving away. Yet again, he was alone in this house with his dad. As Reed sat there, the ache in his head was getting worse. He suddenly felt a sting in his chest, sharp and quick. He tried taking a deep breath, but his lungs seemed defiant, quickly letting the air back out, an attempt and a fail. His eyes darted around the room. He tried again, and it ached. Reed stood up, his legs shaking under him like jelly, threatening to throw him down. He sat back down again, putting a hand to his heart. He found his strength and stood, his vision fogging for a bit. That wave of nausea came back, his stomach cramping. Something didn't feel right. He grabbed his phone and made his way to his closet, locking himself in. He had to focus hard to keep his breathing somewhat steady. He could feel his hands shaking as he dialed his mother's number. Every time he tried to convince himself he was fine, the symptoms just seemed to get worse. He noticed his chest movements were getting quicker, along with his breath. He felt dizzy, sick, fear creeping up on him. He'd been hit before. He should be fine physically. And for any other reasons, this was the best outcome. He already went over this in his head. "It's over. Why am I feeling like this?" He questioned to himself. "Hello?" Ridley answered. He clung to that phone, hearing his mother's voice. "Hi, Mom," Reed responded. "Hi, sweetie. Did you finish your homework?" she asked. Reed shuddered out air. "Alright, when are you coming back?" he asked. His voice came out small and strained. "I know I left suddenly, but you know how your dad can get sometimes. I just needed a break," Riley told him solemnly. "I'll be back in the morning, though. Can you handle everything till tomorrow, sweetie?" she asked hopefully. Reed heard in her voice that sound of desperation. She was tired. She deserved a break to focus on herself. It's just so exhausting. I have to think of a way to make up with Easton. I hate it when we fight. I love him so much. But at least we have each other. Mommy's little soldier. Riley praised him sadly. Who else did Riley have to lean on? She would be this transparent with. She needed him to be strong. She was right. He could handle it. He had been. Everything's fine here. I got it. Reed stilled his voice to tell her. Riley smiled with relief. He could hear it in her voice when she spoke. I know you do. Thanks, sweetie. Make sure Arden eats and goes to bed on time. You both have school, she told him. Reed moved the phone from himself, sucking in a rough breath. He hugged himself with one arm to keep from shuddering. Okay, he managed out. He wanted to inform her that he overheard he went to the McKinney's house, but he couldn't get the words out. I'll see you in the morning, sweetie, Riley promised him before they got off the phone. He wanted to tell Renly he got hit, but what could she do about it? He knew very well how attached she was to Easton, and he didn't want to put her in a position to choose. Either one she picked would have been bad for her. He would like to believe she would pick him, but he also didn't want to see the outcome. Reed turned on some music before laying down on the floor, holding himself. He was in pain and confused, so he just closed his eyes, hoping he could fall asleep, and everything would be fine when he woke up.